Hey, Chicago, what do you say? It's the CHGO Cubs Pregame Show presented by PointsBet. Use the promo code CHGO when you sign up to get 2 risk-free bets up to $2,000. Luke Stuckmeyer, Cody Del Mendo in studio for the Cubs and Giants. One of those rare 3 o'clock Friday starts that come late in the season.
Which I'm not a fan of.
I mean, however, beautiful weather for it.
Absolutely.
You know, like if you have tickets to this game, this is one where the weather is going to be perfect at the start of the game, after the game, rolling into your weekend. All of it's nice, except for maybe the matchup.
Oh, yeah. I'm not looking forward to this game or this weekend. I might have to pull what I did last weekend, Luke, and take another break.
Yeah, Sunday's game's against the NFL. Ouch.
Yeah.
And in this one, you get Drew Smyly, who has been pretty good, and you kind of wonder about, like, should they bring him back next year? I kind of feel Smyly more than I do Miley. And then he's facing Carlos Rodon, who is the fish that got away.
Yeah.
Don't know if they ever considered him in free agency.
They should have.
The White Sox should have never non-tendered him, by the way.
The second consecutive offseason that I thought the Cubs should have gone after Carlos Rodon, because they could have got him the season before, because the White Sox non-tendered him and then re-signed him. They could have got him multiple times.
We will certainly talk more about him in the post-game show afterwards, because he's obviously, he obviously is the guy they could target in the offseason again.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, he has to opt out, so he's not technically an unrestricted free agent.
But the way he's pitching tells you this guy's got to opt out, because financially it just makes too much sense to him. I mean, he's in FIP, which is 2.34. He's second in baseball, right?
Yeah.
Leads the National League in FIP. He leads all of Major League Baseball in strikeouts per 9 innings.
Yep.
We keep saying the Cubs need a frontline guy. The Sox always hoped he'd be that frontline guy, but it was injuries.
Yep.
Now he's kind of done 2 seasons with the Giants where injuries really haven't been a problem. And you go, geez, when he's healthy, you could put this guy with Stroman and Steele and somebody else, and maybe Thompson's in there, and maybe Hendricks is in there. But, like, he's a guy that really could boost your rotation, whether he's your 1 or 2. I don't care, but he's a guy that definitely gives your rotation a serious offseason boost if you're able to wrangle him in. Now, that said, the price will be high.
Yeah, no doubt. I mean, I'm looking at his numbers right now. I mean, the only thing that kind of scares me is, like, it's not like he's been doing this for years and years. Like you said, the injuries.
Mm-hmm.
Last year with the White Sox, he kind of fell off the end of the year, had that dead arm, I guess you could technically call it. Velocity really dipped. And maybe that's why the Cubs didn't check in, because they were afraid of that possibility and the injury history on top of it. Well, pitched 132 innings last year. This year, already at 157. So he's already pitched 20 more innings, over 20 more innings than last year. He's got a higher FWAR. His FIP's lower. His ERA is just like it's last year at 2.37. This year 2.92. What's the difference? Strikeouts per 9 is basically the same. Like, he's giving you basically 2 consecutive really good seasons of being a top-end starter. I don't know if I'd want to assign him to be your number 1, but I'd love to sign him to just be one of your rotational pieces and be like a top 3. I'd love to see him, Stroman, and someone else that
Steele, if he continues pitching the way he's pitching,
maybe
you're okay with
that. Maybe I'm okay with Rodon being your number 1, but I don't know if I want to pay him number 1 money like what Jacob deGrom's going to get, or Garrett Cole, someone who's gotten that kind of. And I only really say this because it's not like we've seen 5 years of this in his young years. I mean, he's 29. He's going to be 30 next year, and I know John Lester worked out, and Yu Darvish was pretty much worked out. The only reason, we all know the story about Yu Darvish, but, like, it's not like he's early or mid 20s or anything like that. So again, he's already making 20 some million AAV this year. If he opts out, in which he should, like you said, I would guess that he is going to make.
You're going to overpay for him.
Well over 25 AAV well over that. I would say almost between 27 to 30.
I guess there is this way to look at it, and I know Michael would say, and he does, should have signed him 2 years ago. And that is, if you would have signed him to a multi-year deal 2 years ago with no opt-outs, certainly would have less per season. You would have had him locked up. However, he was way more of a gamble back then, and he likely would have been pitching in games that don't matter.
Mm-hmm.
So if the Cubs, as we know, don't want to throw money at lost seasons, at least you saved the money that you didn't spend on him these 2 years.
Mm-hmm.
And now you can put that money starting over. You've seen that he can do it. So take the money that you saved on him those 2 seasons and now dump it into having to pay a little bit extra starting in 2023.
Yeah.
So that's the way I look at it. Like, okay, fine. You didn't sign him 2 years ago. You can right that ship and right that wrong by now taking the money you didn't spend on him, pitching in worthless games, and now give him a little bit extra to pitch in games that are meaningful. And Jack's saying, well, where would you put him? Who's the number one then? Who cares?
Yeah.
That's just my opinion, Jack. Like I just say if he's the one or the two, if Stroman's the two and he's the one, or if you're adding yet another starter, doesn't matter to me. Maybe Steele emerges and proves to be the guy that could be your number one.
Yeah.
We don't know. Like this, Steele made huge progress this
Mm-hmm.
season.
Or someone, not jumping ahead on Hayden Wesneski, but if they're going to use him like they brought up Steele and Thompson, like out of the bullpen the rest of this year, and then give him a real chance to start next year. I'm not saying you should automatically put him as your number one, but maybe if they have plans for him to be in the rotation and things work out that way, then you're not sitting here regretting not paying for, a guy who's proved it. I like the idea of getting Carlos Rodon. The only thing that scares me though is just the fact that it's not like he's been doing it for years and there is injury history.
Right.
But
next year's not a given, which is why, because you're still waiting for the prospects to come up.
True.
You want to be competitive enough to at least compete for the division. And I think a rotation of Rodon going into it compared to what we went into this season with, if you go into a rotation to start the season with Rodon, Stroman, Steele, Thompson, Hendricks, and then all those other guys behind, Wesneski, Killian, maybe Smyly still back at a low rate to give you more depth. Sampson's still part of the team. That's possibly enough starting pitching wise to at least keep you competitive in this division. It's not going to necessarily be the best rotation, but it could be. You could end up with a really good rotation. I think it's enough to do for one season, with the following year being better for a free agent crop. Like, the problem with thinking you're automatically going to get Rodon is everybody's going to want Rodon. That's why he's going to opt out, because it's a supply and demand thing. Is he the best pitcher in baseball? Well, no, some of these stats say he's been really good. He's been at the top of baseball. Is he, the lights out, surefire ace? No. And that's why you are going to have to overpay to beat out these other teams.
I mean, there's plenty of things that you can argue to say that he has been a number one starter type ace. I mean,
I just don't think you look at him, if he was going against the top pitchers of other teams that are really, really good in a playoff series, you wouldn't say, well, we've got this locked up because Rodon's going. Now, he's been that good this year, but there are still other aces in baseball where you'd say, well, okay.
Yeah, I'd rather have DeGrom. I'd rather have, whoever else that I can't think of.
I'm just saying the Dodgers have guys, there are pitchers that certainly would compete. It wouldn't be game over because Carlos Rodon was going.
Right. And that's kind of like my thing. Like, the only positive out of it is, like, all you're doing is giving away Tom Ricketts money to get a guy like this. It's not like you have to trade prospects or whatever. I am intrigued to see what the market for him will be. And you know how free agency works, Luke. Like, first pitcher off the board, if it's a high-end one, however much, like if DeGrom opts out and he gets he's making like well over 35. He gets like 40 or something like that, like a Scherzer deal of last year.
Yeah.
Then you look at Rodon and he's like, well, I'm, a few years younger, coming off a huge season, had one of the highest F4s and for a starting pitcher in the National League. in baseball, highest FIP, one of the highest strikeouts per 9 in an era where strikeouts are like big. You need a pitcher who can get those. And again, he will be 30 next year. He's in his age 29 season now. He'll be 30 next year. It's not like he's going to be 30 and be turning 31 next year, right?
Be careful how many years you would give somebody. Like if you get outbid because somebody gives him a 6-year deal, so be it.
Yeah. His birthday is December 10th. So he will be 30 at the beginning of next season.
Right.
And he'll be 30. Not that it really matters. I'm just saying that
no, I'd rather throw more money, shorter seasons, be able to get out of it. And Michael, of course, coming through, director of Buzzkill,
of course,
assistant to me, or maybe I'm his assistant, says, wait till next year. Here we go again. No, I'm just saying, realistically, if you look at it, even if you want them, as I do, to get Judge and Rodon and bring Smyly back and one other piece, even if they go crazy in the spending, there's likely still too many holes with the prospects, still slightly too far away to think that there's any way this team competes for a World Series next year. I'm not saying they can't be a playoff team, but if you're trying to compare them to the Yankees and the Dodgers and the Astros and those teams, there's almost no way, even if they spent like the Rangers did this offseason, I don't think there's a way you have a team that's good enough to win the World Series next year.
World Series,
you can take a huge step in that direction and have a playoff team. And that's what I'm talking about.
Yeah. That's
when you go get that better free agent crop of pitchers.
Right.
And you'll know more about Steele. You'll know more about Thompson. Yeah. You'll know more about Wesneski. By that time, you might not need. You're hoping you don't need that pitcher.
Yeah. And hopefully you know more about Killian. And hopefully by the time that comes around, PCA has already at least played 50 games and you have an idea of the type of player he can be. I think Rodon would be a great addition, no doubt. Well, if you sign Rodon, I don't want him on a 7-year deal.
No, gosh, no, the guy'd be ancient.
Yeah.
With a history of being hurt early in his career. So no way. That's what I'm saying.
That's
why it's not a done deal.
When that market is set though.
Yes.
And it's all right, how desperate are you? I just don't feel like the Cubs are going to feel that desperate with the pitching infrastructure that they have. I think they'd rather roll with one of their guys, see what he's got, and spend that money elsewhere. And if they were to do that, then I would be okay that they didn't sign a guy like Carlos Rodon this time. But still didn't take away the one time I agree with Michael Collada, yes, they should have signed him 2 years ago.
Yes, but they still can right that wrong.
They still can. I just think if the right price
is correct.
If the price is correct. And that doesn't mean that I don't think he shouldn't be paid, anywhere between 25 to 30 AAV. I just don't like the years. I don't no more than
I'm okay with 30
years.
I'm okay with 30 million, but I would do it for 4 years.
4 or 5 years, yeah.
I'd even do 35 million for 4 years.
Yeah.
So you can get out of it.
Right. Do the old Stroman contract. People get so mad about Stroman's contract. It's dude, it's for 2 or 3 years.
Yeah,
he can opt out after next year. Say he has a huge year yet next year, he can opt out. It's a great deal for the Cubs. And considering the
same thing with Rodon, you could also again give him a 2-year deal to keep you real competitive and give the opt-outs because you have that free agency the year before that still coming. Line up at the top today: Madrigal, Suzuki. The Franmil batting third with Nico batting cleanup, Gomes behind the plate, Rivas at first, and there it is, Cody. Your guy, Michael Hermosillo, is back. It's what you've been waiting for all season. The hair flowing.
Yeah.
Pat Hughes, dark hair flowing out of the back of his cap.
At least he will have one of the best vibes on the field with the City Connect unis, with the dreads. I
can only say extreme vibes.
Yeah.
Right?
Listen, I never said that he was going to be great. No, all I'm saying is that he should have been playing over Rafael Ortega at the beginning of the year. And the fact that he hasn't played until today over Rafael Ortega, it just proves my point even more. That's all I've ever said.
And one more comment. Again, we'll do more Rodon in postgame, but Koopa Scoop is right. If he says Cubs going to get Shohei, hey, if they get Shohei, you don't worry about Rodon.
Absolutely not.
Because you have your number one then.
Yeah.
Then you got your number one, and you don't have to worry about.
That's a guy you give the massive contract to.
Yes.
Yes.
I mean, I don't care what you give him contract.
Yeah, seriously, you really don't.
You can give him the Zachary Hotel for all I care. Like,
let him stay in the Zachary Hotel. He can
the
just
whole top
stay there.
You know what? You get the top 3 floors at the Zachary Hotel. Yeah. And you also are now full-time owner of those top 3 floors of the hotel.
Yeah, you can have the
rooftops.
Plus,
we'll pay you a salary.
Yeah.
And maybe Do Right Donuts down the street.
Absolutely.
So, anyways, that's the pitching matchup for this game today. Cody, what about PointsBet? I will say, for all of those wondering, I talked big about how I was doing the NFL season was starting. I did a couple parlays. You got me free bets, $20 in free bets. Then you got me another $20 free bet because we're all kinds. Or I had a $5 free bet and a $20 free bet.
Yeah,
I was 0 for 2 last night. I just missed the parlays by one thing each time. I had Akers right, and you know who screwed me for the last time ever in his life? Allen Robinson. I will never do anything. I think he might be washed up. But he's the reason I missed on both parlays. All he had to do was get a touchdown on one, 65 yards on the other. Instead, he got one target, 12 yards.
Yeah, that's on Matt Stafford too for just not throwing him the ball. Yeah, if it makes you feel any better, Luke, I went 0 for last night. I lost every single bet. There's a video out there of me and Sean saying that Rams money line is the lock of the century, basically, and they got destroyed last night. I mean, I'm still hurt about it.
Yeah, but I was 66 percentile success rate in my wages on PointsBet, and now I've dropped 2 in a row.
Yeah, well, that means it's just in time to get hot because we got college football tonight and tomorrow, and we'll be talking about that on CHGO Bets Daily today at 4:30. You should tune in. We'll be talking all about the lines on PointsBet Sportsbook, which is counting down the days until the football season with a new offer every day until the season kicks off. Sign up for PointsBet now using code CHGO to also get risk-free bets up to $2,000. Don't miss out on your chance to get daily access to free bets, boosted odds, and so much more now through September 8th, which is over. I'm sorry to say that, but that's not it. If you make a $51 or more first-time deposit, you receive a free CHGO membership, which unlocks all of our web content. You even get a free shirt of your choice from the CHGO locker. Download the PointsBet app today and use code CHGO to take advantage of this limited time offer. Don't just bet, live your bet life with PointsBet. If you're someone you know has a gambling problem and wants help, call 1-800-GAMBLER for crisis counseling and referral services. With that said, I think I read the wrong PointsBet ad, Luke.
I thought I put the right one in for you.
Well, I think this one's over.
Yeah, it did. I don't think there's a new one in there, though.
Yeah. No, I thought they put a new one. I read a new one yesterday, I thought. Either way, can we just tell them?
Yeah,
you gotta sign up and get the Bears swag.
That's the deal.
That's the deal.
If you sign up, the deal is you sign up new users.
Mm-hmm.
If you bet on the Bears Niners, $51 or more, pregame or during the game, you get the QB1 shirt from the CHGO locker, right? And you also get the choice of one of those sweatshirts, either the crew neck on the right. You got to use the code CHGO, or the hoodie with the tassels and kind of like the varsity sleeves. That would be my choice, but they're both pretty sick.
Yeah.
So you get 2 pieces of swag
and a year subscription,
and you get a yearly subscription.
All you got to do is place
for all of our written content.
All you got to do is sign up on PointsBet, place a bet on the Bears and 49ers. Like if you're like Michael Collada and just like insanely pessimistic, you can go place a bet on the Niners -7, and then you get the swag and you get all of this stuff. And if the Bears don't cover, then you win more money. You win your money back, perhaps.
By the way, also, if you're thinking about going to the game, I know Cody's thinking about it. Gametime, the hottest new ticketing site that makes it easier than ever to score the best deals on tickets to sports, concerts, and shows. Maybe this is how I feel. Ever dream about sitting somewhere where you never thought you could? 50-yard line, never done it.
Me neither.
Courtside, behind home plate, floor seats at a concert, so close that the sweat of the artist drips onto your shirt. It's possible with the Gametime app. The biggest last-minute price drops can be found on seats you never thought you could buy. You won't find a better deal this season on Cubs tickets, definitely not on Bears tickets. And listen, it's always tough competition. Created by the fans, for the fans, guaranteed lowest price. So if you love CHGO, then you're going to love Game Time. The best way to support us is by buying your tickets through the link in the description here on YouTube right now. Join over 15 million people who have downloaded the Game Time app and score the best seats to all of your favorite events, up to 60% off when you wait here. And then you use Game Time. Like, that's the way to do it.
Absolutely.
And the opportunity could be great for the home opener and the season opener for the Bears. Rain's coming. If you're willing to sit in the rain and wait this out and then jump with Game Time, you might be sitting 50-yard line on a real big discount Sunday.
Hell yeah. Also, the Cubs are bad. So, like, the tickets at Wrigley on Game Time are insanely cheap. You could have gone today for $10.
That's right. David Ross will let you play third
3
base.
p.m. It's not Friday 1:20, but Friday 3 p.m. Same vibes, different time, same vibes. You go sit at Wrigley and basically ignore what's happening on the field, but just have a good time. I know Michael Collada is against that, and we shouldn't be doing that, but you could do it if you wanted to. If you're just a fan of baseball, want to go watch the Cubs,
yeah, Michael's
totally do that.
He says sunny afternoon, new toilets, Gallagher Way. What's to ask for? Michael, here's the deal. You got 8 minutes before the game starts. Now you've really pushed it. Get the Game Time app, get down there, and David Ross might let
bring
you.
Your signs, man.
He might take Hermosillo out of the lineup and let you play center for a couple innings.
Yeah, there you go, brother. Oh, we got a super chat, it looks like.
Oh, wait a minute. Super chat.
Jared Thomas.
Gerard
Thomas,
maybe?
$3. Hell yeah.
See a good winning streak coming.
Go Cubs. MF. Did he say money line? Go Cubs money line? I don't know. I don't know what MF means.
Well, I know what MF could mean.
I know what it could mean.
This is a PG show, so I'm not.
Is it a PG show, Luke?
Well, sometimes.
It definitely is.
If you divide it down the line, it's a PG show. The side over there is less PG. The side over here is more PG-13.
The things I've said on this podcast, Luke, there's no way this is a PG
some will get
show.
You arrested in some states.
Yeah. Well, I like Gerard's mentality. I know it's hard to give two shits. There you go. We're not a PG show. It's hard to care. It's hard to think optimistically about the future, like me and Luke have tried on this pregame show.
Right. I
gotta give credit where credit is due to the people who are, still, they still care a little bit. I like that. And I think, what was it? Jake said something to us the other day, yesterday, actually. I think we were sitting on the couch and he said, because he lives out in like Cary, Crystal Lake area. Yeah. He said he was like, at the store or something. He said he saw two people, like a couple.
The coffee shop. Everybody decked out by the train station.
Yeah, and they were decked in Cubs gear, and they just were so excited to go to Wrigley Field and watch the Cubs play. And all I could say to them is, like, they must not go to games very often, because if they were that excited to go in September for this team, that says something. I commend them for caring.
That's right. And I wonder if they used that Game Time app. They might have been sitting there at that Cary train station waiting for their moment, and then boom, pounced on 60% off.
Ooh. Perhaps.
Wait a minute. This is important to Kevin Kadux, who's in the building here too. Michael Collada says he was a great 16-inch softball center fielder.
Ooh.
We are looking for a ringer who is willing to take on Odyssey on Monday. Playoff game. If we have someone in the chat that we could pretend is an employee for like one day, maybe we get some CHGO merch. If you can slug and shag flies in center field, we might we might give you a one-day contract.
Absolutely. I'm in.
We will do anything to beat Odyssey.
I guarantee you're probably better than me. I'll be in the dugout cheering.
Now, Cody, don't forget, you turned a triple play. I want to remind you all.
I did not turn a triple.
You were part of a triple play. But still, that's not the way to tell the story. Just say, I helped turn a triple play. Yeah. It was not your fault.
David
all you
Snyder.
did was hit the ball.
Here's a new take.
Let's take
that. Miguel
he wants
Cairo
Ross
from
gone,
and
he wants Cairo.
Ugh, I don't
Give
care.
him whatever he wants.
Just so
he's turned a dead team into back into the race.
Just so he can come here and the Cubs will be basically, they won't live up to expectations again. And we, you know where I'm getting at.
And the Reds, the Reds will sign David Ross and they'll win the World Series before the Cubs do.
This fan base sometimes, man, I tell you. Whatever, David. I'm not going to change your mind, man.
If what David is saying is that Cairo could be a good manager, small sample size, but he does look like it was a spark.
Yeah.
That's going to be interesting when Tony comes back. Glad he's healthy enough to come back, but that will be interesting.
Yeah.
Very, very, very interesting to see what happens after that. Who you got? You won yesterday. Today you're going with the Franmil.
Yes.
Batting third.
Franmil's killing it with the Cubs, man.
Here's my thought process. Okay. Right away, Ryan jumped in on Horner. Because why? Because Nico's the best player on the team. I understand that. And he took that person, and I was going to take Nico too. Yep. Then I looked at what was left, and I said, well, what's left? I'm going with a guy who might know a little something. He's a contact guy. We know that Rodana is, strikeouts, leads the league in strikeouts per 9 innings, right?
Yep.
Madrigal's not a strikeout guy. He's a contact guy, and he's probably seen this guy's stuff more often than anybody else. So I'm thinking Nicky 2 hits could be Nicky 3 hits on a slow day for the Cubs offense. That's why I went Madrigal once.
I want to announce officially on the record, I am selecting Yan Gomes today.
Okay? Yan Gomes.
If Yan Gomes has a great game, I get the point. All right.
Look at Joey under the Texan sun.
All right.
Live from Austin, Texas. Longhorn? Joey producing.
You see the Longhorn in the background? Cody, are we taking Texas plus 20 at 4:30 on the bet show? That's what you said to me before, right?
No, I did not say that. I said I'm taking Alabama to cover tomorrow. That's what I said I'm doing.
Joey, the Texas alum, getting ready for Alabama, Texas.
Nothing against Texas. Great
Joey,
school.
Before we let you go, anybody that goes to Austin, what food places do you really want to hit while you're there? You don't have a lot of time there. Where are you definitely hitting?
An excellent
What's that
question,
taco joint?
Taco joint is one of my number ones. I accidentally made a horrible call this morning, wasted one of my meals, burned it. Bad bagel place, really bad.
That's unfortunate.
Terry Black's Barbecue by Zoke is a must go to. Taco joint for sure. Hop Dottie is great. A lot of great places. For a more extensive list, hit me up on Twitter at Joey Spathis. Thank you. And Yan Gomes today. Don't forget.
He's got Yan Gomes today. I thought he had those. He was taking PJ Higgins no matter what, every game.
I thought so too. My guy Joey in the comments, shout out to you, man. He says Texas is banned for life, and he's talking about that from a gambling standpoint. Me and him, I think last year we rode Texas a little too long during the season, and they've really ruined our bank accounts. So that's one reason why I'm on Alabama today, because I can't bet Texas anymore. So shout out to you, man. I looked up Franmil's stats with the Cubs. He's batting .287, on base at .328, slugging .491, 126 WRC plus. That's in 116 plate appearances. 25.9% strikeout rate, not bad. Average exit velocity is 91.5, so he's hitting the ball hard.
Trade value up? Is that what you're trying to tell me?
I'm not saying trade value up. I'm saying, spot on the Cubs roster in 2023 seems
put him on the
like
team next year.
a good idea. He's got a 818 OPS. I mean, remember when they signed him and you were just kind of like, it's just a guy. I'm not saying that I'm all in, but he's on track to be more than just a guy, Luke. So.
I'm okay with him being on the team next year. By the way, now Joey's not sure about his picks, but he says Terry Black's and taco joint for sure. But Jack Brown called him a liar. Doesn't like his picks. Says that Hop Daddy is so mid. I don't know what that means. What's mid mean? So average?
Yeah, so average.
So mid.
I went to a taco place here in the West Loop last night. It was very mid.
Very mid.
Very mid.
I tell you, there's good taco places in the city for sure.
Yeah.
When you're looking for cheap bulk tacos, I'm okay with Uncle Julio's. It's expanded out to the suburbs now.
Yeah.
It's not.
I've been there before. It's pretty good.
It's pretty good.
There's just some more authentic places.
It's not authentic.
No, there's some authentic places in my neighborhood in Uptown, Lakeview area that I'm like, I would rather go to those than this taco place here in the West Loop.
Yeah.
So
we won't name it, but
we won't name it.
It's on Randolph.
Yeah, it's on Randolph, and it's across the street from Nando's.
Thanks for checking out the CHGO Cubs Pregame Show podcast presented by PointsBet. Use the promo code CHGO when you sign up to get your risk-free bets up to $2,000. We will see you after the game. We'll talk Rodon. Keep an eye on him. See if you want him as a future Cub. We'll talk about his chances. What else we might talk about? Well, probably tacos and a lot of other fun things with Joey. So,
oh yeah, especially if it's a blowout, we'll probably end up talking more about food than the actual game. So,
yep, I'm gonna go push traffic and see if I can get home in time to. I'll listen to Pat Hughes and we'll see you after the game.
Yeah, we're supposed to be remote. Me and Luke decided to come in.
We screwed up. Well, the vibes in here were so good, we decided to show up today.
Like,
so, see you from the man cave later.